with the highest sense of gratitude and tribute to the great legendary person that he was, I would like to present to you, my dear friends, 5 things that we can learn from the power star Puneeth Rajkumar as IAS aspirants, so that we live a life that is filled with ease, grace, and lots of success. Vinay Kumar here, international NLP and IAS coach. I would like to first share with you, my dear friends, why I can share with you with a sense of conviction 5 things about Puneeth Rajkumar that can help you as an IAS aspirant. Number 1, I grew up in the same locality as him. In fact, we have a small age difference between us, like 7 to 8 years, my dear friends. And I was in Sadashiv for a good period of time in my childhood, and we used to see Puneeth Rajkumar very closely. From there, I went on to become his fan to an extent where I was ready to swap something as great as a Mysore Dasara procession to be seen in palace to going and watching his movie first day first show. So this is one of the greatest transformations that a human being has undergone for himself, that he has become an inspiration for a whole generation of people like me. In fact, there is no generation that has been left uninspired by him. The entire country wept for him. Entire country stood for him during the unfortunate thing that we experienced recently, my dear friends. Now, having said that, very recently I was interacting with one of my students who recently became an IAS, and he was also sharing with me that Puneeth was a great influence on him when he wanted to make a decision to take up the civil service exam. All this inspired me, my dear friends, as I thought about him in the last 1 month, that Puneeth definitely had something that was useful for everyone to give. I saw what could be taken out from the perspective of the need of an IAS aspirant, so that when we try to live it, my dear friends, when we try to operate from there in our life, I could imagine a life that is filled with greater level of happiness and success. Okay. Now, here I go with my 5 greatest things that I feel every IAS aspirant should know from the life of the great Puneeth Rajkumar, my dear friends. Number 1, physical fitness. See, the age-old adage goes, health is wealth. So without having good physical health, it's almost like you can't do anything, correct? You fall ill, you catch cold, you have problems with your nervous system or the respiratory system, whatever it may be, my dear friends. You are stifled to do a lot of things that you can do as an aspirant. So one of the areas where Puneeth Rajkumar inspired a whole generation was to keep the body as fit as possible, so that it's empowered to do whatever it wants to do. Yeah, all your great ambitions, all your great aspirations can only come to fruition if you are healthy and fit. This is one of the greatest things that every aspirant should know, should learn and know from Puneeth Rajkumar, my dear friends. Now, there may be skeptics and cynics who would say, see, you shouldn't over-exercise, you may have premature death. No, see, what is not conclusively, scientifically validated, we shouldn't share that as a norm. What do you say, my dear friends? Yeah, physical fitness is physical fitness. We may not have to do all the exercises that he did or the number of hours that he spent in the gym. We don't have to do it. But to be successful in this exam, to be successful in the preparation to this exam, and to be successful as an IAS, we definitely need certain level of fitness, and that is something that we have to learn in terms of that action discipline and action consistency from Puneeth Rajkumar, my dear friends. That's number one. Number two, my dear friends, I feel the courage to say, I don't know, and knowing from there. This is something that every IAS aspirant should learn from Puneeth Rajkumar. See, whatever may be his academic credentials, my dear friends, when he came to a stage like kannada Kotyadipati, okay, where he had to ask so many general knowledge questions to people, he had the courage to say, I may not know this, but I'm learning. I'm growing along with this learning. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Most IAS aspirants, they are afraid and fearful of showing their ignorance. They feel, hiding behind their ignorance is safer, is comfortable. But the real growth happens when you have the courage to come forward and say, see, I don't know this and I want to know. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Yeah, that's very, very important. I've seen a lot of people come to me for coaching, my dear friends. You know how they introduce themselves to me? See, I've given 3 prelims. I've cleared one I've cleared one prelims. Mains also, I just missed out by few marks. So if you just do this, now what is this person starting from? As if he knows why he has failed. Actually, it's not like that, my dear friends. Many times you wouldn't have known why you have failed, or you would have identified something as the reason of failure, but that could have not been the reason of failure. So the courage lies in acceptance of I don't know and I'm willing to know, and that is something that Puneeth Rajkumar was great at, my dear friends. He would very humbly tell, see, I don't know about this, and he would show that natural curiosity to know it. Yeah, he was always willing to learn more. He was always willing to accept his ignorance and try to grow from there by learning more. This is the second thing that every one of us, IAS aspirant, will have to know from Puneeth Rajkumar, my dear friends. Third one, love, compassion and humility. I think this is, Puneeth, I feel, is an embodiment of all the 3 things, my dear friends. Who else, I don't know, who else in the Kannada film industry, other than him, of course, there was this great human being, Ambarish, okay? After him, at least, as far as our knowledge goes, in Karnataka, his love that got expressed in terms of his altruistic actions, his philanthropic initiatives, was something that left a lot of people flabbergasted, my dear friends. He was an embodiment of love, and let's look at his humility. Being the son of the Kannada, film industry's Kayon, the Kannada film industry's, someone who is irreplaceable in his position. Being son of such a great human being, he could have easily allowed the ego of being the son of Dr. Rajkumar to be the driver of his life. But I felt Puneeth realized very early into his life that no, that was not the right way to get into the life and live it. So very early he just came out of the false shield that he had created around himself, and he became an epitome of humility. Whenever we see Puneeth, whenever we see a photo of Puneeth Rajkumar, when we see his smile, my dear friends, we can feel that love, we can feel that compassion, and most importantly, his humility. So The way he used to gel with people, the way he used to treat people, irrespective of their social status, irrespective of their economic background, was something that not only IAS aspirants, everyone has to emulate and learn, my dear friends. And as IAS aspirants, it's more important for us to always remain humble and do whatever we do with lots of love and compassion. See, there are many aspirants who are not even aware of why they are preparing for the exam. Seriously, my dear friends, you know what? To be very truthful, during a good part of my preparation to exam, even I did not know. Seriously. It's only very late into my preparation of the exam I realized why this exam, what we can do to this country by clearing this exam and all that. By then, as you know, okay, so Puneeth Rajkumar, yeah, from the life of Puneeth Rajkumar, we can learn to love, be compassionate, and most importantly, be humble. Fourth thing that we have to learn from Puneeth Rajkumar, personal integrity. I feel the man was totally aligned, coherent, congruent. There was absolutely one Puneeth Rajkumar in every cell of his body. And that's something that every IAS aspirant has to learn, my dear friends. Those of us who are already blessed with it, largely because of the education of our enlightened parents or family members or anyone in our life, it's great, my dear friends. But all of us who aspire to become IAS should first stand by the values of personal integrity, my dear friends. Again, if you look into any photo of Puneeth Rajkumar, you can see that smile on his face. Yeah, it clearly demonstrates the man's authenticity, the man's oneness, solidarity with himself. And I feel every IAS aspirant should get it, my dear friends. You know what happens? See, that is where lies the power, my dear friends. Puneeth was a power star because of his personal integrity. The real power comes when you are coherent, when you are congruent with your values, when you are congruent with the principles. Do you get that, my dear friends? So, most of you will be entering into positions of power. Don't see them as just positions of power, my dear friends. Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. And, living with personal integrity, I feel living with personal integrity is the prime responsibility of every human being who co-shares this planet with other human beings. And that's something that Puneeth really, really taught us well throughout his life, my dear friends. Fifth, legacy. People say Puneeth lived for such a small time. So much more was to come. True, I don't, I fully agree with it. But then, in a short lifetime that Puneeth lived, he left behind so much legacy, my dear friends. To each one of our lives, there is one thing that is certain: the end of the life, what we call as death. But when the death cannot stop you and your values, your actions, your contributions go on to inspire the world, even after your death, then there is no death to you. That is what is called the legacy. Who better, in the recent times that we have seen, has left a legacy like the way Puneeth Rajkumar has left, my dear friends. What I am trying to tell you is this: many times people crib See, I want to do a lot of good things, but I'm just posted for 6 months. I'm transferred even before I can do anything. Time doesn't matter. For whatever little time you work anywhere, my dear friends, live every day like Puneeth Rajkumar. So that once you are transferred from there, a whole generation of people are inspired to follow you, to emulate you. Legacy, my dear friends. I could hear a lot of people, who had stashed up huge money when Puneeth left us physically. They were all bringing out that money to, I'm talking about the good money, my dear friends, the money that was saved over and above what their next 5 generations needed, by the way, okay? They could bring out a lot of that money and start hospitals, educational institutions, and Puneeth had left behind a legacy, my dear friends. And we all have, every reason to follow his footsteps, leaving behind a legacy just like the way he did. Okay, so these are the 5 greatest things I feel one can learn as an IAS aspirant, or even as not an IAS aspirant, from the life of the great Puneeth Rajkumar. So let's live life responsibly like the great Puneeth Rajkumar. Thank you very much, my dear friends. See you in my next video. One request I have for you, my dear friends. As far as I saw him, there are so many qualities that inspired me. But these were the 5 I picked up as my most, the 5 that I can put it in the top 5. Definitely, I know there are so many qualities of Puneeth Rajkumar that could have inspired you. Let's continue this conversation, my dear friends, where you can use the comment box below and share those qualities of Puneeth Rajkumar that inspired you, so that lot of us benefit out of it. Thank you very much, my dear friends.